Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress of Comic News, episode 49. I am Chris, along with that guy.
I'm Mike, and we're almost halfway to 100.
Almost.
It's pretty exciting. This is about as close as you can get to half of 100. If you do your math right. Wow, it's been a long ride. It's been like a year of podcasts. What? What'd you say?
What a long, strange trip it's been.
Yeah, what a wild ride. We actually got a lot of news to do today, so I really got nothing crazy's happened to me in the last week. I don't think nothing interesting.
No, it's been a boring week over here.
Yep. Besides just comics. Counting down. Oh, besides counting down until Justice League hits, and then talking about the reviews, or not the reviews, but the social media embargo has been lifted for Justice League. And I think I've done some research here, and I think it was like 40 reviews posted on Twitter. I think 20 something of them were positive. There was maybe like 1 or 2 negatives, and then like 5 or 6 mixed. So take that whatever it may be, but everyone says the overall majority of the movie is like it's good. The villain is lacking, but seeing all the characters together is really good.
I heard flawed but fun was the consistent thing I heard. And
and then I saw
if it's a fun movie. It can be flawed. It's fine as long as it's not Martha flawed.
It's literally. I'm not trying to knock on Marvel, but there's been Marvel movies that it's like Age of Ultron. I had a lot of fun, but the villain sucked. The villain was really bad. Yeah, it happens. Anyways, okay, let's get into the news here because we got a lot of stuff to cover.
All right.
Seth Rogen's developing an adaptation of The Boys for Amazon. Probably the most exciting thing that I've read in the past month or two.
Have you read The Boys?
Oh, have I read The Boys? Yes, I've read The Boys. One of my favorite comic book series. Have you read The Boys?
I've read the first trade. That is.
Oh God, I knew it was coming. By the way, his face asked me if I've read it. I knew he had never. It's like I think it's like 60 issues. Garth Ennis and Garth Ennis, the writer. So there's something funny about The Boys is. Basically, they're like they're this group of like enforcers for superheroes. Like there's a world where superheroes exist, but they need someone to keep them in order, which is the Boys, where they take like super powered pill to make them stronger than a superhero, and they kind of keep them in line. But there's always been talks about it, and even Simon Pegg had talked about it too, because there's a character that's drawn in that book, and he looks exactly like Simon Pegg. Like, pretty sure he's used as a model for the character for the face. And he talked about if there was ever an adaptation that he would play it. So I would love it if they got him for it.
That would be awesome. I'd always heard the rumor was that he was purposely drawn that way for that reason, but who knows? That's kind of a comic shop rumor thing. Yeah,
and the fact that they have Seth Rogen doing it is just like he's done so well with Preacher right now. Friggin', hand it off to him. He'll take care of it. And it's another one of those books that's like very gory and like a dark comedic thing. So it's almost along the lines of Preacher, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's like a 60 issue long epic.
So speaking of streaming services, segue, Disney is set to launch its new streaming service next year. And what they're saying is that all of the Marvel shows will now live on this streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
And they also announced that they are working on doing a live-action Star Wars show.
Yeah, so if Chris wasn't going to pay for the subscription, he is now. I think that's exciting that they're going to do a Star Wars show that's live action. Kind of sucks that, I mean, they're. I wonder how Netflix feels about all this. They're pulling out of Netflix here.
Yeah, and the other talk is that it'll be cheaper than Netflix too. So they're gonna have probably the best content in the world, and they'll be cheaper.
Marvel and Star Wars, now it might be. I would pay like $2 or $3 a month just to have all of the Star Wars movies ready to stream at will.
Yeah,
that would be worth it. I don't know if that's what they're talking about. I don't know how much. I mean, I guess there's enough Disney content between like the cartoons and stuff.
Well, yeah, you're talking all the cartoons, all the old movies. So anything Disney's ever been a part of, that's all the Marvel movies. That's every
Pixar,
Star Wars thing. That's every Pixar thing. That's Disney XD. That's ABC. And as we'll get to later, there's a chance that could add Fox as well. So there's a lot there that they can pick from.
No kidding. Yeah, I guess it's interesting because like Punisher is hitting next Friday.
Yeah.
It's kind of an awkward moment because it's like Punisher is going to bring in a ton of viewers. I wonder where it's all going to start, what show it's going to start. They got to start with a good like Daredevil season 3 to make people jump on board, I think.
Yeah, and then all the talk is like, what do they... Because they said they're not doing any more characters at Netflix for obvious reasons. So where do they go now with characters? Do they continue to make kind of street-level characters? Do they do something new? What do they do?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see moving forward, especially with Netflix.
And I think right now all the DC shows are on Netflix. So I wonder if that means that DC is like, all right, maybe we should start working with Netflix to make exclusive stuff.
That would be awesome.
But I feel like they own the CW though, so I think they want to get away from. They're kind of battling against Netflix too, with the whole CW streaming services being free and all that stuff. I don't know. It's weird because it's on the CW, then it goes to Netflix after that. I don't really understand how that all works out, or who gets what there. I don't know. WB makes money off it. Netflix makes money.
Well, the CW app kind of works as you only get so many episodes, and it's after they launch, so only I think 4 or 5 episodes will be available at a time. And then after the show ends, it's like months after that ends up on Netflix. So I don't know if the CW app is I don't know what they're doing with it, because they are creating original content for it as well. It's a weird space for that market to be in, but whatever, cool stuff is coming out of it, so...
more Star Wars stuff. It's a moral story. So that's pretty. I wonder where in the trilogy it's going to take place, the Star Wars show,
or if it's in the trilogy.
Yeah, well, I guess just somewhere. What planet and what timeline?
Yeah.
Kind of sad news. Captain Cold on the CW, Wentworth Miller, the fellow that played in the other half to the Prison Break, is no longer going to be Captain Cold, which is weird because he plays him in the crossover. He's on the poster.
Yeah, that's going to be his last appearance, apparently. He announced this during the finishing of his shooting.
Well, can we confirm that he's dead? Well, it's weird because he was dead for a little bit. They did something with a timeline where he's been dead on the show.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really know what's going on there. As long as Heatwave stays around, he's been like the best part of Legends of Tomorrow is Mick.
Yeah, and with that, we could probably jump right into Legends of Tomorrow talk.
Yeah. I'm caught up on everything except Supergirl.
Same here.
Okay. So Legends of Tomorrow is getting interesting. The last episode with Damien Dark coming back. This is full spoilers for CW shows. We got to the more mystical dark arts side of the show, and you know who they're going to call for help with that, right? I mean,
Batman.
Yeah. Constantine, I think, is showing up in the next episode or the episode after that. But I can't imagine why they wouldn't make him a regular on that show. Like you could kill Rip Hunter and just replace him with another British guy. Just replace him with Constantine.
Well, and then at the same time, the Constantine animated show is set to launch here any day now, so they're definitely building that too. Up.
Yeah, so I wonder, like, man, I wish they would just give him they could do the Constantine show well. I just think Fox didn't handle it the right way. But anyways, so what do you think of the episode? I thought it was pretty good. I like the whole mystical thing instead of just time traveling.
Yeah, I really liked the episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. And Mick, like you said, is the best part. Like him wanting to go hunt vampires and then just like stabbing random corpses with spikes.
Yeah, so they think like the whole episode. They think it's like they think it's a vampire going around killing people in like the 1700s or something. And Mick has loved vampires his whole life, so he just the best part's like he pulls out the stake, and they're like, "Have you been carrying that the whole time?" He's like, "I hate vampires."
I've always wanted to hunt.
So you've been carrying that? Yeah, you've been carrying that wooden stake for 3 seasons. It was pretty awesome.
I love the old man Mick moments where he has his like reading glasses on. And he's reading Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah. He's like reading the book while they're like about to crash land. He steals the show every time. He's great. And Damien Dark's back. That's interesting to see what they're gonna. But he's not the main villain. There's some evil force behind him. I can't remember the name, but
yeah,
there's someone behind it all.
It was like Mongol or something like that.
Was it Mongol?
I think that was right.
Something like that. But I'm sure Constantine will know about it, and that's why they're going to enlist him somehow. So it was a great episode. Arrow this week. Let's save Arrow for last because I think Arrow is my favorite episode this week. Okay, Flash this week. We got more of Ralph Dibny on the squad there, which is cool. I like having him there. I didn't care for this episode though.
Yeah, the whole
hashtag feminism thing, which is fine. Okay, hold on. Let's talk about this really quick. The episode was called "Girls' Night Out," which is great. Like you could show strong female characters, but we didn't have to do the whole cliche like hashtag feminism thing. I don't know. It's just it was like a little too much. But then you had the awesome side of it with like the guys in the strip club. But even that was a little weird. I don't know. As far as like filler episodes go.
Everything about this episode I didn't really like. The Girls' Night Out thing, like whatever. It can be done well, but I don't like this whole side story with Killer Frost, which
I don't care for it.
Was kind of wrapped up this episode somewhat.
Yeah.
Like Felicity was kind of shoehorned in, like she just came out of nowhere. It's like, hey, I'm here, guys.
Yeah, and I'm here.
And it kind of adds to a complaint we had a few weeks ago, which is Iris kind of like forcing herself into the show to be like a big player. It's just I don't like it. And then Barry being just like hammered the whole episode was really weird.
It was very strange.
Part of the show is Captain West. Like he was really good, and I liked his parts. But
that was a good part. I think Ralph. I don't know how I feel how they're treating Ralph Dibny's character. By the way, like they get to the strip club, and he's like a recurring member of the strip club and stuff. Like Ralph Dibny was always like I feel like the character. I mean, if you read him like Identity Crisis, he's like the wholesome hero that's married and loves his wife and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe they're doing that, and like he's gonna meet. I can't remember her name that he marries, but maybe they're doing that whole storyline with him. Like, oh, maybe he can settle down and be a good person instead of being a shithead.
Well, to my knowledge, he had kind of a like criminal-esque background, if I'm not mistaken. So it fits, but it's just kind of like I don't know.
They're almost treating him like. They haven't. I don't think they've never said elongated man. They did drop the Plastic Man name, so I'm almost wondering if they're like turning him into Plastic Man, but they gave him Ralph Dibny's name for some reason.
Oh, maybe I'm mixing him up with Plastic Man then. Didn't Plastic Man have a criminal background?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm mixing them up with then.
Yeah, Plastic Man's like the red suit with the glasses.
Yeah.
Elongated Man, he has like a purple suit and orange hair. Yeah, so and that's why I really think they're gonna, like, why would you call him Elongated Man? Plastic Man works so much better, so maybe they're gonna call him Plastic Man, but they gave him the Elongated Man character's name. I don't know what they're doing with him. But yeah, so that was an interesting episode. Then we got to Arrow.
Let's talk about Arrow.
And I thought we had to wait a week for the Punisher show, but I didn't know this was coming. Yeah, so the last episode of Arrow, we got a phone call from Deathstroke that he needed Arrow's help. It didn't look like he needed Arrow's help at all.
No.
They go looking for Deathstroke's son. He's in some other country, and he tries to bring he doesn't bring Arrow with him. He brings Ollie with him as the mayor, which is so strange to me. How like a mayor is doing political things overseas. Like, how does that really, the whole political wishy-washy stuff is just like whatever. The mayor's over in another country. Apparently the other country knows about this mayor of a city. Like, I don't know, maybe that's the thing they do, who knows. But then he's like, they can't get the son, or the son, they say that he died or something, so he was abducted by these people called the Jackals. So of course Deathstroke goes like rage mode, enters the facility, takes on like 50 guys with it was like a comic book sequence. I mean, he had the machine gun and he had the sword, and he was just slicing and shooting and slicing and shooting. It was awesome.
So
I was like, yes.
Important to note that at one point he's called the Terminator in this.
Yes, they do say Slade Wilson the Terminator, which is amazing.
Because I haven't heard that one in a while, which I loved. And yeah, that scene where he just like walks in, just kills everybody was amazing. Yeah. Like, that's one of the best scenes I've seen in any CW show.
Yeah, there was so much blood too. I was like, yes.
Yeah. And then the reveal at the end where he Mike's food guy here. Maybe not. Well, boys and girls, something's happening. Mike told me to wait. I think that his Chinese food has arrived. I don't know. Hopefully it's not another cop at the door. We're waiting. Nothing's happening. I don't hear anything. But his mic is muted, so that could be part of that. What is going on? Well, while you're here with me, we're going to take a look at some fantasy football scores. I'm not getting my ass kicked as bad as I thought. Let's see. But still got 2 guys to go. Oh, 3 guys to go. I still got a defense too.
All right. I knew that was going to happen. Like,
was it Chinese food?
Yeah.
I was right.
Okay. Yeah, it was really cool. They called him the Terminator. We finally got to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I want to see more of that from Arrow.
Yeah.
And by more of that, I want Arrow to turn into a Deathstroke show.
Well, that adds like to the fact that they need to do a Deathstroke show. Like, that just needs to happen.
And
now.
The actor's been talking about it and stuff. It's like, I bet I don't know how CW can gauge the reactions from that episode, like how they do that, but they need to do more of that. And then we find out, right, that his son is bad, is like the head of this organization.
Yeah, it was a really good, like, dun 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 moment.
Reveal the mask. But we also got to see the backstory of Deathstroke too, like him taking his son on a camping trip, which is pretty cool. They pulled that right out of like the rebirth. The first trade or rebirth for Deathstroke is like he's taking his kid on a hunting trip. It's a little more graphic than the CW show, but yeah, I think it's cool. I completely forgot all about Team Arrow. There's some other stuff going on where that annoying FBI agent is like trying to debunk who the hell the Arrow team is. Like, it's obvious they're all part of the Arrow team, but like, I don't know.
They'll find a way around it. The only important thing that happens in that is that we find out who Vigilante is.
Yeah, and it's some guy that Dinah used to be lovers with, right? And what is her partner?
Yeah. Well, they were
and
also
lover.
lovers.
Yeah, partner in both the senses, I guess.
And so by season 5, he'll be part of the team.
Yeah, right. So we'll need to expand and add him to the team, and yeah, it'll be fine. But other than that, I don't really care for the whole FBI agent. I think she's a terrible actress.
It seemed like a distraction more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't care for it. But either way, Deathstroke, give me more of that. If that's like the rest of the season's going to be, man, I'm back on board. It was a complete flip for me. I was like not feeling it, and then they did that, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Supergirl, we'll catch up on Supergirl at some point. There's so many shows to watch. Walking Dead
is The Walking Dead.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so what an episode, huh? I think this is spoilers for Walking Dead. I think if you wanted to end an episode on the craziest cliffhanger ever, you put a 50 caliber machine gun in a random window and you start firing it on your favorite characters of the show.
And have that's one way. All of his people jump on him to save his life.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It was obvious that it was like, we're going to throw all these bodies in front of him. Hey, he could be dead, though. Who knows? I don't know. They could turn a complete 180. And, but yeah, it was kind of hinted in the episode. They're like, where the guns moved to? They're like, it got moved to so-and-so. And then they're like standing in a field. I was like, oh, shit.
Well, that, and he kept saying, like, no one's going to die. Like, we're not going to lose anybody. And it's just like, oh, you're going to lose everybody.
It's like, come on, guys. You know what foreshadowing is. Like, that's just a bad omen. Like, he's like standing around smiling at everyone. I'm just waiting for like anyone smiling at him, just getting like a sniper shot through the head. I was just waiting for it. I was like, something's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they start playing the nice music. I'm like, this is not gonna last long.
So I like this episode. I think the season so far has been okay. It's been like a war TV show.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for all this to get out of the way so we can get to the part where it's Rick versus Negan and we see what they actually do with Negan. You know,
yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, it hasn't been bad. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, it feels like they're doing a lot of setup.
There's a lot.
I want the payoff.
We didn't even see Gabriel or Negan. We haven't seen him in 2 episodes now. Nothing from him. Just more of that whole interaction with that. Okay, so even talk about even more wasted time. This character, we try to figure out what season he was from. Daryl just walks in and kills him.
Oh yeah, that too.
and then Rick's trying to talk to this other guy. Daryl just kills him. It's like, oh man,
like Daryl, and like there's at least 2 moments where Rick gives Daryl the what the fuck are you doing look.
Yeah,
and there's other moments where he's like, I trust you, I got your back, and then just does another 180. Like, I can't tell what's going on between that dynamic.
Yeah, I feel like they might address that in the next episode or something. How they're like not on the same wavelength.
They're gonna have to.
And I think it goes to along the lines of like Daryl was tortured and stuff, so now he just like feels like killing everybody.
Yeah, where he's just like, fuck these people.
Yeah. All right, we got quite a bit of movie news here.
Oh yeah, we do. So Disney, we talked about it earlier. They're in talks to buy majority share in 20th Century Fox, which they're
going to own it all. They're going to own everything.
I think I don't know if we were doing the show back then, but when they bought Star Wars, I said I accept my Disney overlords.
Yeah,
but this would successfully bring the Fantastic Four and the X-Men into the hands of Disney and Marvel.
Thank God. That could be the whole phase 2, right? Is it, or phase 4? I don't know. Phase 4.
Phase we're fucking on.
I don't know. I can't keep track of the phases. Yeah, but I mean, they're not doing anything with those characters right now. They need to do something. And I feel like that's hurting the comics too, because they're not really paying a whole lot of attention to those characters in the comic books.
And yeah, and I mean, we'll talk a little bit about it later, but them not having one of those characters, not doing anything with them in the comics, has lost them a creator. But the only thing that people are complaining about with this online, I mean, first, it's take out the giant corporation buying another giant corporation thing, because I don't know anything about that. But as far as like the licenses, the thing that everyone's concerned about is what happens with Deadpool when all this goes on, because Deadpool doesn't really fit anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And it's definitely not a Disney kind of movie.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. He doesn't really fit.
I mean, I'm cool with it. Get rid of him, but I'm in the minority here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they'll figure it out. I mean, they might just make him a TV show. I mean, Disney has made Punisher, right?
I mean, yeah.
And I'm sure they'll be dropping F-bombs on Punisher. If you're not dropping F-bombs in the Punisher show, what the hell are you making it for?
Oh, fudge. He got blood on me.
Yeah. Like, you killed my family, fudge you! Like, Punisher brought to you by Disney. Yeah, so I'm sure they'll figure it out. They're encroaching upon Universal Studios now, and then maybe, like, eventually WB. It's like they're going to own everything.
Yeah,
and maybe maybe that's how we get the Avengers Justice League crossover movie 20 years from now.
Yeah, I'll come back for that.
He'll be 65. Anyways, yeah, so that's interesting. I mean, they have it's not like they don't have the money to do it, and it's really just to use those characters.
I mean, there's tons of other stuff they have there too, but yeah.
Speaking of Disney, Asher Angel, what a name! That's like a comic book name in itself. Asher Angel.
That's very Stan Lee-esque.
Yeah, Stan Lee-esque. From Disney XD. What is Disney XD? You kept saying that. I have no idea.
Oh, Disney XD is Disney's like channel where they put everything. So that's what Star Wars Rebels was on. That's what like the Spider-Man cartoons on. The Guardians of the Galaxy. I hate that it's called XD because like there's that whole like anime fan base thing out there where people say like, you know, when you do like the XD, it makes that weird smiley face. Mm-hmm. But like there's people that actually say it out loud like XD, and it's like stop. Well, I love Rebels. That's about it from Disney XD, but it's definitely like a teen TV network.
Oh, it's like fellow kids, come watch our show, XD. Oh god. All right. Anyways, that's my little rant for the day. I hate that stuff. Yeah. So we have our Billy Batson, and he literally looks like a younger version of Shazam. So of the actor that's playing Shazam.
Yeah.
And I think it's perfect. I don't think I've ever seen this kid act in anything. I guess we'll find out.
Neither have I. I mean, I'm sure he's not doing a whole ton, but if he's working regularly on Disney XD, I gotta assume he's somewhat qualified.
Yeah, he's got to be. He's got to be somewhat. All I'm thinking of is like the child actors on the CW. All of them are just awful. They're so bad, and it's scaring me. Like the kid who plays Arrow's son. Oh my god, this is one of the worst actors. It's like every scene they have to hold the lines like behind Ollie when he's talking to him because like the kid just like stares at the wall and like screams his lines like, "I'm mad at you, father." It's like, holy shit, kid! Wow. You got to try a little bit. I'm sure acting's hard, right? But then you get shows like Stranger Things where all the kids are phenomenal. So I don't know. Maybe I'd be picky, but yeah, I took that headline and I just ran with it. It was way longer than it needed to be. Basically, I have a Billy Batson casted. The bigger news that we should be talking about is Rian Johnson the director of Star Wars The Last Jedi, Star Wars number 8, has received permission or confirmed that he will be making his own Star Wars trilogy.
That does not involve the Skywalkers.
That's not the Skywalkers. But it's just all about Chewbacca. it's a Wookiee trilogy.
It's an all Porg trilogy.
All Porg trilogy. Star porn. Yeah, they never said that, right? It's a rated X movie. Yeah, so this is interesting. First off, like, you can't get any more hype and you can't get any more higher expectations for The Last Jedi than giving a guy 3 more movies. They didn't even give... They did not even get... Think about this, okay? J.J. Abrams didn't even get 3 more Star Wars movies. Right? And that's after he made them $1 billion.
It sounds to me a lot like he's doing what J.J. Abrams did, which was he will probably direct the first movie. He has set out the course for the trilogy. But who knows if he'll be all 3 movies? Because JJ kind of directed the ship. This is more of Rian Johnson's writing than it is his directing. I feel like
because he had a hand. So they write and they're like, holy shit, this kid was like born to write Star Wars. But you got to think about that though, like a whole nother trilogy. You're giving him a whole nother trilogy, and this movie hasn't been released yet. You don't know how much money. I guess they could always drop them, right? It's just them saying this, and if it was like Lord and Miller being on the movie, they dropped them, right? They could do whatever. It's not going to hurt them.
Oh, they don't care.
But how? Like, I got to go to this movie with high expectations.
Oh yeah.
How could I not? How could I not go into this movie? This movie better blow my fucking mind. Yeah. It better, like it. That's all. Disney, you did it to yourselves.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions now. And,
okay.
And this will be the first of 2 drops. I just recorded episode 2 of Chris's Comics Corner, which you can find every Friday on youtube.com/FortressComicNews. And
shameless plug.
And this is what I talked about. So the 3 questions I asked myself were, do you like this? Which it seems like you do. Do you think we're getting too much Star Wars? And what do you want this trilogy to be about? Like, where do you want it placed? Who do you want to see? So on and so forth.
Oh, man. I like it, yeah. Do I think it's too much Star Wars? Ask me after the Han Solo movie. Because depending on how the Han Solo movie comes out, because you're devoting Solo movies, like there isn't even a plot behind it. It's just Han Solo, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a plot to it, but like Rogue One was like, this is the story that you heard about. Well, the Han Solo is like, you know the character. We're just gonna. That's all we're going with, and we're making a movie off of it. That's the kind of thing that scares me, not the whole like, yeah, I've heard about the plans to get the Death Star plant. Like, how do they get the Death Star plans? Yeah, it's a pretty cool story. I'd say ask me after that, but we could be teetering to that.
Okay.
If it's still gonna involve like the whole one Star Wars movie a year thing, that's great. I don't think that's too much. Yeah.
Well, I feel like this is going to be after the saga's done. This will be their every other.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the third question?
What do you want it to be about? Like, what subject do you want them to tackle? What part of the universe?
Oh man, I guess. I mean, it's got to be about the Jedi, right?
Yeah, like I'll just spoil my episode. I want it to be Knights of the Republic.
Yeah. Yes.
I want a very Jedi versus Sith story.
Like old story. Like go back to the roots.
Like true Sith. Not.
Yeah.
I mean, like not taking anything away from the current movies or even the original movies, but like we've all read stories about that time period and how evil the Sith were.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I don't want any kind of galactic empire or anything like that. Just the Sith versus the Jedi. Good versus evil.
We need some more universe building that starts at the beginning to kind of refresh us from the 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
What are they going to call them? Like -1, -2, -3? We're going backwards now. How does that work? I don't know. They kind of screwed themselves with 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I think you just. I mean, if they go my route, I think you just call it Star Wars. Whatever you want to like give the. But in my case, like Star Wars, Knights of the Republic. Boom.
They'll call it all new, all different Star Wars #1. That way, everybody knows it's the newest. It's this newest #1 that you should be paying attention.
And then we'll go back and we'll make the other one Star Wars Legacy.
Star Wars Legacy. Oh my god! If they call the TV show Star Wars Legacy, I'm done. That is such a good name for the Star Wars TV show, right? Star Wars Legacy. Come on.
Well, that's what Marvel calls the Dark Horse comics when they reprint them. Like these aren't canon; these are just legacy stories.
Yeah, this is just stuff that's there. Anyways, so it's some pretty big news. I mean, the guy's got a job now for the rest of his life if he wants it. So
yeah, he's set for life.
And then we have like George Lucas over there, like, I wish they would call me. They don't. They once let me did a trilogy.
You had your chance.
I did a trilogy. I did a trilogy once. It was great.
You gave us Jar Jar. It's over.
It's pretty cool. It doesn't involve the Skywalker family. I'm done hearing about those little shits.
That's an ingenious move too. That's a great way to like reinvigorate everything.
All right, let's get to the heart, the soul, the comics.
Hey kids, it's comics.
Time for comics. So if there's one thing you do in life, you don't go after a giant conglomerate company. And you don't sue Marvel. Monster Energy is suing Marvel over this Monsters Unleashed title, which I mean, they do have some good grounds to be suing them. Isn't the logo or this is like, it's weird because this is like Chris's two worlds colliding. Like he works for Pepsi, but he's a huge Marvel fan. So it's like, what side do you take here, Chris? I guess they should bring you to the courtroom.
Monster's a Coca-Cola brand.
Yeah.
So I did some research on this.
Oh, okay.
Now
by research, did you mean you like drank a Monster and read a Marvel comic book?
Staring at a Marvel comic.
Yeah.
No, I actually did some research. So Marvel recently had a miniseries called Monsters Unleashed in this year, so 2017, which then turned into a regular comic called Monsters Unleashed that is still going. And Monster claims that any version of the words monsters and unleashed, because their tag is Unleash the Beast, is infringement of their properties and intellectual properties, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you go and look, in 1976, Marvel launched a comic called Monsters Unleashed.
Wow.
Before an energy drink was even a thought in someone's head. So I think they have no ground to stand on here.
Yeah, they really don't. I think they're just trying to make it into the publicity of all the stuff that's going on with the comics.
Yeah, and Marvel's one of those companies that, like everyone's saying, oh, they'll just back down, it won't be a big deal, and they'll cancel it. Marvel doesn't back down.
No,
Marvel's
you don't
like
tell
Nintendo.
them. No.
They're one of those companies. Like, come for me, man. I'll take the fuck down.
Yeah, but then on the other hand, you're talking about Pepsi, so like
Coke.
Yeah,
Coke. This is a Coke product.
You're talking about Coca-Cola. You're talking about Coca-Cola. Like
it's going to be interesting, but I don't think anything's. I mean, all Marvel has to do is go, here's our comic from 1976.
It's like it's going to be. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be next week, and there's going to be an article that was like Disney just bought Coca-Cola. Like, that's what it's going to come down to. Like we tried to fight them, but they just bought us. So they're going to have a streaming service for like sodas. I don't know.
That's the other thing. Like we talked about, like just accept your Disney overlords and don't fight them. Just accept it.
Did you get my joke though? You have a streaming service for soda, like soda stream. I had to get that in there. Anyways,
all right. Next.
Yeah. So next up, there's a lot more comic news than that.
Yeah,
Brian Michael Bendis signs an exclusive contract with DC. What? talk about them losing Marvel writers, right? Because they won't touch certain characters. Almost 20 years with Marvel.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years, 18 years. And you just hop ship like that. Something's going on there, huh?
So, the first episode of Chris's Comics Corner on Fridays on youtube.com/sportscomic-news.
It's not going to stop.
So I talked about what I wanted to read, but I actually did a lot of research into this too. There's multiple things that went into him leaving. One being the fact that Marvel didn't want to give him a raise for some fucking reason. And
it's Brian Michael Bendis.
I know, he's been the cornerstone of the Marvel universe for 2 decades now. The other part is if you remember, I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not, because we tend to stray away from these, but months back, some guy, part of PR with Marvel, said that part of Marvel's problem is they have too much diversity. And if you know anything about Brian Michael Bendis, he has a couple adopted kids of different skin colors and ethnic backgrounds. So he probably didn't take too kindly to that.
Nope.
And then the third, which I find very interesting, which is actually, in my eyes, good news for DC, is that a while back, Disney restructured how Marvel movies work, and now everything goes from Feige straight to Disney. Whereas before, it went from Feige to a council of people at Marvel, and then to Disney, and Bendis was on that council. So all those people were told they were no longer needed, and they were skipped over. Wow. And as part of this, Bendis is getting a seat with Jeff Johns as part of the movie division.
Holy shit. Yeah. And if anybody doesn't know who Brian Michael Bendis is, he's had a huge hand in the whole Daredevil shows.
Yeah.
Easily. Like the whole Netflix thing, like he helped mold that. I don't know how much they talked to him about especially like the Jessica Jones show. Like Jessica Jones is his character, right?
Created Jessica Jones. That's his character.
So
now Marvel owns it,
to easily just let go of him like that. That's
and like I said, like he created Jessica Jones. He created Miles Morales. He's
if I was DC, I would definitely have picked him up. If he was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about leaving Marvel," like easily double your salary right now. You're coming with us. Like, come on, you're with us.
And there's so much there. Like, that someone at DC was just like, "All right, Bendis is wavering. We gotta bring him in. He wants a raise. We give him a raise. He wants a seat here. We give him a seat here." And we wave Batman in front of him. We just take Batman out of the sleeve and say, once Tom King's done, this is all yours."
Can you imagine Brian Michael Bendis' Batman? Holy shit! They're making history right now.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone about this the other day, and one thing that there's 2 books that Bendis is really known for in recent history, and that is the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I think that as soon as he signs on, he's announced as the writer of Justice League. Because who the fuck is writing Justice League? Seriously.
Oh, God, it's so bad right now. Even on the internet, there's like, what Rebirth book are you getting? Anything besides Justice League? It's like, God. So how do you like treat this group of heroes so badly? Fuck.
Yeah, and you got a huge movie coming out, and you signed one of probably the biggest name next to Jeff Johns in comics. You put him on Justice League. Like, there's no other choice. Easily. So, and then there's also the fact that he loves to do creator-owned stuff, but with his he likes to sign exclusive contracts. They might do them through that. He'll have a Vertigo book, I guarantee you.
It's interesting. I mean, we didn't really talk about it with the shows, but with all these, we talked about Kevin Spacey last week, but this week there's more and more like sexual harassment stuff coming out. Mark Guggenheim is actually on the list of those people. Anyone doesn't know who Mark Guggenheim is? I believe it's Guggenheim, one of those CW verse people, and I'm pretty sure it was one of the main ones. So it's like it's sooner or later they're going to be letting him go because like it's bad news about him. It makes you wonder, like, they're going to need someone orchestrating. I mean, Jeff Johns doesn't have the time to just spend molding all this TV universe together. So I don't know.
He needs to be worried about the movie universe.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. So I guess we'll see what happens to that. It's pretty huge news. Like, it's so strange that he's just coming over to our side. But hey, maybe they give him Legion of Superheroes. I don't know. That'd be cool.
Like I said, there's so many cool places. I guarantee you he starts with Justice League. There's just, to me, if you don't do that, you're wasting. Because
if they put him on Justice League, they'll sell 100,000 copies that month.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you that month it beats out Batman. That's how big that name is.
Yeah.
But another part of this is that we've been talking for probably close to a year now that Hickman has been approached to sign with DC multiple times, and he keeps like, maybe, but no. He said that one of the people that could make him go to DC is Brian Michael Bendis. So, how long until that gets announced?
DC is getting all the good writers now. It's great. I'm loving it. It's pretty soon you're going to be all about DC. We have such a slew of amazing writers. I mean, like Jeff Johns, if he ever writes a book again. We got friggin' Grant Morrison if he feels like writing a book. Just when he feels like it.
There's a lot of book soon.
Yeah, and it's like there's all those people on our roster that just like if they feel like doing it, yeah, we'll give them something. Like I'm pretty sure Scott Snyder is going to be there pretty soon. Grant Morrison just does whatever he wants. If Gary Frank wants to draw a book, they're like, we just draw whatever the fuck you want. You want to do whatever.
Detective Chimp, yeah. So do an ongoing.
Yeah, Detective Chimp, yeah, draw him, sure, why not? You want to put him in the scene, sure. Yeah, it's exciting for me. I'm very excited. I'll be picking up whatever book he writes easily.
Oh, 100%.
And he also came out with a lot of people don't remember this. He came out with Powers, and Powers is a successful TV show as well. Well, it's on like the PlayStation streaming service, but that wasn't a bad TV show, and that was a whole comic book series that he came up with himself. So the guy is super talented. I mean, come on.
Like I said, he'll come out. The thing will be official. It'll be Justice League, and here's my Vertigo book.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Awesome. Anyways, they announced another Batman comic. I was joking, DC, when I said put out a bunch of Batman comics as long as you're doing them well. Like, I didn't mean you to take that to heart a couple episodes ago, but it seems like every week now. Sins of the Father comic announced, and it takes place in between the Telltale series video games, which I think they have a Telltale for everything almost now. It's like Game of Thrones, Walking Dead,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's all these stories. It's like a story. It's more of a story than it is a video game, but it's interactive. Yeah, so they're gonna, if you're a fan of that, they're gonna do a comic book series in between. You played the Telltale games, right?
Yeah, the Batman ones specifically are really good. Anyone who's a Batman fan should definitely pick them up because it's a really cool twist to the Batman mythos. Like, you think you know what's going to happen when you go in, but you have no fucking clue. You really don't.
I'll have to get it then.
They change everything. And Sins of the Father is kind of a spoiler for season 1, but I'll pick it up because I love those games. So
yeah, I'll have to. I think it's probably going to go on sale around Christmas time, so I'll probably buy it. Nice. This is some big news for DC. They're giving Mara her own book, and it's interesting because it's like this was announced very soon, well, close to the release of Justice League, and we know Mara's in Justice League, so like maybe the screen tests are like, holy shit, Mara's awesome. Like, why does she not have her own? Like, she's going to be really popular. So it goes along the lines with everyone saying that the characters are the best part of the Justice League movie. I'm so on board for Mara having her own book because, like, I was talking about, there's a lot of strong women in the DC universe right now. There's Wonder Woman, obviously. There's Big Barda, and she's basically has her own book. I mean, it's the Mr. Miracle book it's a 50-50 split. It's halfway between Scott Free and it's about Big Barda as well. And it does not show Mr. Miracle as being I don't know, better at all. Like, like she's there for him, but like he's falling apart and she's keeping him together basically. So it's more her book as well as his. But anyone besides Harley Quinn, just God.
Yeah, and so this book is also being written by Dan Jurgens. So
yeah,
the Aquaman writer writing Mara, I'm down.
Yeah, you're getting the book. Yeah, so it's a limited series, but it's always every comic that they're going to try out as a limited series until they start making money on it, and then they're like, okay, it's going to be 50 issues now. Mm-hmm. X-Men Red announced. Can you talk a little bit about what that is?
Anyone who watches the show knows I'm not a huge X-Men fan, but I mean, new X-Men book, new ongoing. It's coming out of the whole Phoenix resurrection story. Jean Grey is going to lead the team. That's the big news there. Jean Grey is back, and like the adult Jean Grey is back, and she's got her own X-Men team now. So, yay for people who like that.
Is there gonna be an X-Men Blue team, and it's just gonna be Red versus Blue?
There's already an X-Men Blue team, and I think it's an X-Men Gold team.
Oh, I must have been out of the loop for a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's exciting if you're a Jean Grey fan.
Which there are many.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Comics.
Time to talk about what did we read? Let me talk about White Knight really quick because that was a couple weeks ago, and like you said, you were on board with it, dude. Not only was there one Harley Quinn in the book, there was two Harley Quinns in the book, and I still managed to finish reading it. What a crazy twist, though! And someone at DC has heard my prayers, right? You must have thought of me when you read this section. So White Knight...
I told you in that episode, I said it's got a lot of Harley Quinn, but you're gonna like it.
So basically you find out White Knight is the new take on Batman, where he's the villain and Joker is seen as like the good guy. But we find out that Harley Quinn was replaced over the years with like the psycho Harley Quinn that we see in like the New 52 era. And the original Harley Quinn comes back, and she's more like sane and not as crazy as the other one, and said, yeah, I just kind of like left you with her because I knew you were crazy and you were going off the deep end, so I kind of gave up on you. And then she comes back and she's like, now you're better, so we can do things together. Crazy. Nuts. I thought it was awesome. And she had the original animated series costume with the like the Jester's costume. That was awesome. And then what a cool way to take over the he gathers all the villains in a room, and you almost think that he's gonna Joker's turning evil again, but he tricks them. He makes them all drink a portion of Clayface, and then he uses the Mad Hatter's hat. So if anybody knows the Mad Hatter, he's a villain of Batman that he has either a magical or electronic hat in some iterations, where you wear a hat as well. And he can control you, or you have like the sticker on you, and he controls your mind. The problem with the hat is he can't control multiple people without getting a weak signal or something. So what he does is all he has to do is control Clayface, but what he makes everybody swallow Clayface, and that's how he controls them. I was like, what? This is so much comic book science in one scene happening right now that it was crazy. It was a great issue. The series, they got it. They're going to be giving Sean Murphy more stuff. I mean, he's writing and drawing. He's just killing it right now. Yeah, I just had to say that. I had to talk about that. I tried a new book out this week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm going to start doing that, I think. So Chris has got his little show thing. You pitch it. What's your show?
Oh, the top 5 comics to buy this week?
No, the other one, the new one.
Chris's Comics Corner.
Yeah, Chris's Comics Corner. Whenever I see a number 1 coming out by like Image or something, I'm gonna take a stab at it and read it, give it a try. I read the one that came out this week called Coyotes, I think it was the name.
Okay.
And it was an interesting story. I can't really tell if it's post-apocalyptic or not, but like women are they're raised and trained to be like fighters. And they don't give you a whole lot, but it's along the lines of like there's these wolves that come and attack people, and she's been trained to like she has like a ninja sword and kills them, which is like awesome. I'm all about that. But like towards the end of the issue, you find out that the wolves. They don't look like werewolves. They just look like regular wolves. But she like kills them. And you find out that it's like the men of the world are being infected and turning into werewolves. It was interesting. It wasn't my cup of tea. The art was interesting. It was almost like a combination of Jai Lee and Fiona Staples, which might be, I don't know how you feel about that as a comic book fan, but it was new and different for me to be reading rather than the normal Batman stuff. So I'm going to try to keep doing a crack at it like that. But yeah, it's called Coyotes. First issue came out last week, so grab it and you won't be behind. You'll be right on the. You won't have to be like, oh, I gotta get these other 10 issues. Yeah. So what else did I read this week? Mr. Miracle #4. I was just talking about that. It's a really, really good book by Tom King. The thing about that is someone had told me like the whole story that's going on, they think that Mr. Miracle is actually dead in the issue because there's all this, like I said before, there's like the 60s Batman guy who like narrates the beginning and end of each issue. Holy crap. I'm having a Chris moment here. Issue. Okay. You like how I called it a Chris moment? Anyways,
such an ass.
Yeah. So, the Allfather right now is Orion, and he comes and he believes that Mr. Miracle is infected by the anti-life equation. Now we're getting a lot of comic book explanation stuff. Basically, the anti-life equation is what Darkseid uses to control people and the universe. But it kind of ends like he's on trial with the Allfather, Orion, and Orion kind of circles around in a conversation to get him to admit that he's being manipulated by the anti-life equation. And so basically Orion's like, he gets him all pissed off, and Mr. Miracle punches him in the face, and he's like, okay, I'll see you at your execution in like 3 days. And that's when like Mr. Miracle like breaks down, and Barda's there to like hold him and stuff and kind of reassure him like Barda's been the strong one of this whole series, and he's been very weak, like he's depressed and hates life. So really good issue. The art's great. Tom King is great. It's just been great. Paper Girls, haven't talked about Paper Girls in a while. Read that. That was a really good issue. They're getting into the whole time travel aspect a little more. It's interesting because there's this woman who recognized them as time travelers. The young girls are from the 80s, and they're in like the year 2000. And she's been following them throughout time. Like she's part of some secret society, and she's been putting coded messages in her newspaper comic strip, like some type of like Morse code for them to figure out where she is. But they're kind of being held hostage there right now. So like she tells them all this stuff about time travel and how in the future they discover it, but then they don't want to use it to do any good. So there's this whole conflict happening, which is awesome. And then you have like one of the girls is separate from the group right now, and like goes to her home, shows up at her future home where she's like 30 years old, and I think she's like 12 or 13, and when she gets put in the future. So she goes to her future home, and there's like this gothic girl sitting on the couch. She's like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "Oh, I'm that person's wife." And so she kind of like looks surprised, like, "Oh, I guess I'm married to a woman in like 30 years that is like wearing like all this gothic makeup and stuff." So there's a lot of twists and turns like that. It's pretty cool having that storyline where they can see how their future selves turn out and still have like that 80s mindset. Yeah, I think that's about it.
You didn't read Batman Lost?
Yes. Oh, thank you for reminding me. Batman Lost. Yeah, one of the metal tie-ins. Wow, what a book, right? Holy crap. I think it's probably one of my favorite tie-ins so far.
Yeah, it felt a lot like a Grant Morrison book.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah, it was like if Grant Morrison was like, I'm just going to do this one shot really quick. Basically, I don't know where these people are being held, but it's like the dark universe has them chained up, and they're all kind of in their own like mind palace thing where they're all under hypnosis and locked up. And Batman's there, and it's running a simulation where he's like old and reading a story to his like granddaughter or something. And he goes to grab a Batman story off the shelf, and it says like Long Halloween and Hush and all these like iconic stories are on the bindings of the books. But the whole issue is like he's trying to figure out a way to jump out the window where the bat, and they go back to like the year one storyline where the bat flies through the window and he realizes, oh, this is what I need to make my symbol out of.
Purple gloves Batman.
Yeah, purple gloves Batman. They showed him. For everybody that doesn't know, the original iteration of Batman had purple gloves. Just crazy. But anyways, they did that in. Do you remember that they did that in Zero Year? Yes. With Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. But it was a crazy psychedelic Batman issue. We got to see multiple timelines, multiple universes. It was just nuts. It was all over the place, but it was a great story of him being like trapped in his own mind. And to escape his mind, he thought he had to jump out the window, but he realizes he has to get to like the Bat Cave. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I can't wait for issue 4.
And I think that was it for me this week now. I think I'm done.
All right. I got Action Comics 991.
Uh-huh.
So it's the wrap-up of the Oz Effect story, and it's kind of the prequel to what's going on in the Doomsday Clock. So
okay.
Jor-El's trying to get Superman to leave because he knows that Dr. Manhattan's coming. And
yeah.
Superman's like, I'm not leaving. This is my home. I'll defend it, blah, blah. And it ends with Dr. Manhattan taking Jor-El back, and we don't know where. But Superman is aware that something's coming that's too powerful for him to handle. To be fair, we don't really know it's Dr. Manhattan, but, Blue Thing comes out, takes him. I mean, it's Dr. Manhattan. Daredevil 595. So in this, Daredevil's come back to the United States, and Wilson Fisk is now the mayor of New York.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, so shit's going nuts. So basically, Wilson's trying to get Matt Murdock to quit the DA because of what happened in the previous storyline with his Supreme Court case. And at the same time, he's trying to capture Daredevil. But he's on the side of the law now, so he's got like the police force going after Daredevil. It's pretty interesting. Moon Knight number 188. So they're bringing Moon Knight back to like New York and just kind of being a vigilante. He's still considered crazy, but they're not really leaning too much on that. What they're trying to do is create his ultimate nemesis. So Moon Knight is led by Khonshu, the god of the moon. So the obvious choice would be for his ultimate nemesis to be led by the god Ra, the god of the sun.
The sun god,
so they find another guy who has a similar disease to Mark Spector. And in an attempt to cure him, they actually create this ultimate nemesis who can like create fire at a whim and all this shit. It's pretty crazy.
Of course they did.
And when you said Image Comics number 1, I hope you were going to say Port of Earth number 1.
Oh, is that a new one that came out this week?
Yeah, that just came out this week.
I didn't see that.
The idea here is that aliens have come, but they're not here to conquer. They're not here to be our friends. They came here with a business plan. That plan was you create a port on Earth where people can come and trade and do all this stuff, and we'll give you a bunch of really cool technology. And that happens, and of course, when you do something like that, there's always a seedy underbelly to it. So we kind of focus on this group that's whole mission is to follow these aliens that have gone outside of the port and started to interact with humanity. It was fairly interesting. I think I'll give it another issue before I decide whether to keep it or not. But it was a good setup. It was just a lot of setup. So
yeah,
we'll see what the actual story is.
It's so hard to do with like especially an Image comic where you don't have an iconic person like Batman on your cover. You have to get it's like a pilot episode. You got to get a lot of done, and you got to keep them interested, but you also have to establish what the plot will be.
That's why unless it really doesn't float my boat, like some have, like Retcon did in the past, I'll give it at least a second issue to try. But
yeah.
On the other hand, a number one that did catch my attention was Iron Man: Legacy of the Beast #1.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was coming out.
Book is fucking awesome.
Who publishes that?
Heavy Metal Comics.
Oh, okay, it's from Heavy Metal. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
So Eddie's soul has been scattered across time and space, and he has to go back and get it, and it's his mission to do that. And it's really good. Like, the art's fantastic. It's really great. It's a lot of iconic Iron Maiden stuff. And at the same time, some of the dialogue, the dialogue's good, but there's moments where they like incorporate Iron Maiden songs into the dialogue.
Oh, really?
And it's almost like comedic.
Yeah.
Like there's one point where this girl is like, "You have to run to the hills, run for your lives." I was just sitting there laughing, like, "Oh my god!" But,
run for your life.
But
why are you singing it?
It's so great. I have Star Wars 38. This was Jason Aaron's off the book, Kieran Gillen's on the book, and this is her first issue. And this takes place right after Rogue One. So,
oh wow,
the rebels are at Jeddah, and like they show Jeddah, and there's just like a chunk of the planet missing.
Yeah,
but the Empire has decided that they're still going to try to get the Kuiper crystals out of Jeddah. But the whole planet is just like a death trap,
destroyed.
And while that's happening, the rebels are trying to save people that are still alive. And a lot of them are people that worked with Forrest Whitaker, Saw Gerrera.
Oh, Saw Gerrera, yeah.
In that movie. So, pretty interesting, kind of tying into Rogue One and getting more of that. It was a lot of fun. We'll see where it goes from there. And then my last book is Kong on the Planet of the Apes.
That has got to be awesome.
It's really cool, actually. It takes place right after the original movie, as most of these Planet of the Apes tie-ins books do.
Yeah.
And so the apes are going to destroy the Statue of Liberty because they say it's the last thing of the humans that's around. We need to get rid of it.
Yeah, get rid of it, even though it was delivered by France, but whatever.
Yeah. And so they find this giant ape carcass in the sand. So they dissect it and they try to figure out what it is. Some people think it's a new evolution. Some people think it's, their god, and so on and so forth. So they set on this expedition to go to an island where they think it came from. And they get to this place, and they find another civilization full of apes. And these are just like the normal apes, and they're talking with them, and it's kind of a time waster. And they leave there, and they set off again. And they finally hit the island they're looking for. And they've hit this island, and a kraken attacks, and a pterodactyl flies down.
Yeah.
The last thing you see is the image of Skull Island. So the idea is that Skull Island's been there this whole time. They just didn't know.
So you didn't see any King Kong in the first issue, though.
You did. You saw a quick glimpse of him. It was like one. It was a splash page, but it was one image. But then it went straight to the island. So not really. It was a lot of like, if he exists in this world, where the fuck has he been? Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the plot to King Kong, right? They hear about, or they don't even hear about Skull Island. I guess it's like a mystery to find it. They just discover it one day, yeah. So that's what kind of happens here. It's a lot of fun. If you like King Kong, you like Planet of the Apes, there you go. So, Mike, where can people find you?
Ricker621 on Instagram. And hey, Chris, you got to talk about a new show you got, don't you?
Yeah, I haven't mentioned it yet. So we now have 3 shows on this network. So
it's going to be a streaming service pretty soon.
Don't get me tempted. So every Sunday, except for this Sunday, because this will drop on Monday, because I'm going to be sleepy tonight. But every Sunday we have the podcast that launches on YouTube and podcast services. And then on Tuesday, we have the top 5 must-buy comics that launches. And now we have every Friday Chris's Comics Corner, my alliteration-filled show about stuff.
Yeah. I'm actually here. I'm thinking about doing. I've been looking into it. I'm going to do some video game streaming and record myself playing games. I was thinking about doing like a Dota tutorial for new people because I'm still really new at Dota. I've also been thinking about just playing games and being like an idiot shithead while I'm playing them. That's kind of what I do with Dota lately. Just a jerk to people. But I got to figure out the whole like getting the appropriate camera set up to get my face down in the corner while I'm playing it like all the pros do. So I got to figure out how to do that. Because I do play a lot of video games, and I feel like there's some good content there when I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
So look for that.
Definitely. I look forward to that. And
because like I'm things not to watch. Check.
Well, I'm gonna have to at least upload it, so I'll see it like fly by, and
you'll see the loading bar to it.
You can find me on Twitter at Fortress News Chris, and on Instagram. Twitter is Fortress Chris, Instagram is Fortress News Chris, and find us online at fortresscomicnews.com. If you're listening to this, leave us a review on iTunes. If you're watching this, like the video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and all of you share with your friends and family. And thanks for watching.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.